Hi, and welcome to the first video on probability. In this video, we're going to be describing probability using words. So let's take a look. The mathematical word for chance is probability. We can use words to describe probability like impossible, unlikely, even chance, likely, and certain. We can be more precise about probability by using fractions, decimals, and percentages. Let's talk about impossible. If something has no chance of happening, then it is said to be impossible. As a fraction, this might be 0 over any particular number, or zero point 0.0 as a decimal, or 0%. Pigs flying is an example of an impossible event. If something is unlikely, it has around about a 25% chance of happening. This is about 1/4, or 0.25 as a decimal, or 25%. If you were to guess in a multiple choice test and you had no idea, you would have an unlikely chance of getting it right because you have a 1 in 4 chance of being right. An even chance is something that has around about a 50% chance of happening. This as a fraction is 1 out of 2, or 0.50, or 0.5 as a decimal. 50% is what it would be as a percentage. So flipping a coin is an example of something that has an even chance because you have an even chance of getting a head or a tail. If something is likely, it has around about a 75% chance of happening. It's better than 50-50, but not quite certain. So an example of a fraction that would be likely would be 3/4 or 3 out of 4. As a decimal, 0.75 or 75%. If you were to roll a dice and ask yourself, what's the probability of getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 when I roll the dice, then that would be very likely. If something is certain, it has a 100% chance of happening. As a fraction, this is 1 out of 1, or 1.0 as a decimal. This is 100% as a percentage. An example of something that is certain is that the sun will rise tomorrow. If we were to put these events on a number line, then the impossible event would be 0 and the certain event would be 1. Every other event that happens in between those is going to be something between 0 and 1 on that number line. Let's take a look at 4 events, 4 things that can happen, and put them on the number line in roughly the right space. So for example, A, children will go to school. Now, children going to school is a very likely event. It's by law, so we should be going to school. But it is not certain because some kids stay at home because they might be sick or they might be going on holidays or for other reasons. So it is likely that children will go to school. In fact, if I want to be more precise, I could move that A closer towards the certain end. A woman will give birth to a girl. Now, all things being considered, there's not exactly a 50-50 chance of a woman will give birth to a girl, but we do say that there is an even chance because those other options are very small and minute. So because the most likely chance is going to be a boy or a girl, we say it's an even chance of having a girl. If I wanted to roll a 3 on a 6-sided dice, and only a 3, that was what I was looking for. Well, there's only one 3 on a 6-sided dice, so that event is going to be unlikely. In fact, because there's only 1 out of 6 chance, it's going to be closer towards the impossible end, or what we might say as very unlikely. For D, 2 odd numbers will add to an even number. Well, how do you know this unless you're a mathematician? Well, you could try just adding 2 odd numbers that you know and see what the answer you get is. So 1 and 3, that's 4. And 5 and 7, that's 12. Those are odd numbers and they're giving me even numbers as answers. 11 and 13 is 24. So every single pair of odd numbers that you add together will give you an even number. So we say that it is certain. What should you write? Well, looking at this number line, having a heading of probability to start off with, and then drawing the number line with the words underneath it is a very good start. You don't need to draw those pictures, but having these 4 examples and where they fit on the number line is going to be good, and that's what I need to see. And that's it. Hopefully you can use those words of unlikely, likely, certain, impossible, and even chance in order to describe the chance of something happening. Good luck tomorrow, and if you have any questions, ask them in class.